2016 Republican presidential field thinning out over the weekend as former Texas Governor Rick Perry announced he is dropping out of the race for the White House. And just 16 candidates are left, now 2 holding a commanding lead. According to a new Washington Post ABC poll, businessman Donald Trump and Dr. Ben Carson account for more than half of the potential GOP vote, with 33% and 20%. On the other side of the aisle, a less rosy picture for Hillary Clinton, according to a new YouGov CBS News poll. Right now, Bernie Sanders leads the former Secretary of State in both Iowa and New Hampshire by at least 10 points. With more, I want to bring in Republican pollster Lee Carter and former Rick Perry advisor Avik Roy. Good to see you both. Thank you so much for joining us. What's your take on the current field?
You know what I think? It's been like the old rules don't apply. And so what we're seeing over and over again is people are looking for different candidates, for something totally different. As I've watched and talked to people over time, it's gone from a few people are interested to now a lot of people are interested. And what I really think is people are looking for disruption, something different, a new way of getting things done.
And that's why we're seeing the strength in the outsiders, like a Donald Trump and like a Ben Carson. Avik, what do you think?
Yeah, you know, I mean, with the case of Rick Perry, this is a guy who had the strongest economic record in the field, and I thought he was tackling the big issues facing the country, the persistence of black poverty, Wall Street reform, the Middle East. But you know, that's not what the polls show people care about. People care a lot about immigration right now, and people are feeling frustrated and feeling like some of these non-politicians will get things done. I'm not sure they're right about that, but that's where they are.
Was it the right move for Rick Perry to step away?
Well, he's got to make that decision for himself. I mean, I think the big issue there was the financial runway, right? So he's having to make those calls to donors every day to keep the operation going, and he felt that it was better off to suspend that campaign and maybe throw his weight to somebody else who's caring about those same issues.
But what about the time that we are in right now, Lee? I mean, the fact is it's early on, right? So as we get closer to year end into 2016, how do you think the stage changes?
I think there's going to be a lot of changes. If you think about this, in 2008, Rudy Giuliani was ahead by double digits. McCain was in 5th place at this point. So there's just no way of knowing what's going to happen. In some ways, there's jokes around it saying, you know, it's going to be the last man standing because the people at the front of the pack are going to get really under scrutiny. And there's, like, you know, the further out in front you are, the more spotlight that's on you.
But unlike some of the other campaigns that we've seen, Donald Trump really has actually gained more momentum, lasting more than just a month's time. From what you see polling people out there, do you think that this is likely to continue?
It's really hard to say. In the beginning, you know, the first week that he announced and I was out there talking to folks, in a group of 30, you might have 1 or 2 who were really enthusiastic about Trump. Now, if I have a group of 30 people, I might have 15 or 20 who are really responding to what they're hearing in some way, shape, or form. He's disrupting. He's starting conversations that people want. But at the end of the day, when people are standing in front of the polls, the question that I have is, are you going to be able to push the button for him? Are you really going to be able to do that? Is this about saying, this is a new conversation that I want to be having? I'm showing you that I want a different way of having things done and that I believe that I need someone who's going to get things done. I'm just not sure that at the end of the day people are going to be able to say, I think Trump is the one that's going to be able to do it.
Let's not forget that there's $100 million of Jeb Bush super PAC money that has not been deployed against Donald Trump. And that's true not just of Jeb Bush, but a lot of the other candidates. We haven't seen those negative ads yet. And there are a lot of things about Donald Trump people don't realize on the issues. This is a guy who thinks socialized medicine works extremely well. I think people don't really know that about Trump. And so those are the kinds of issues when you think about Obamacare and how important that is to the conservative base. People are going to litigate those issues, and we'll see how Trump defends himself. So far, he's obviously done fine, but those ads have not run yet.
Avik, have you been contacted by other campaigns now to join their campaign?
Yeah, my phone's been ringing, that's for sure. I mean, it's only been 60 hours since Perry dropped out. My fiance is happy to have me back for a few weeks, so I'm kind of like, you know, when your spouse dies, you don't start dating again necessarily right away. So I'm just trying to, like, take it easy and take some time away, and we'll see where things go. But
when will you make your decision in terms of what campaign you'll join?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a timeline, but, you know, we'll see how things go over the next couple weeks. I mean, I wasn't intending to even get involved in the primary. It was just that I thought Rick Perry had a compelling agenda and a compelling message. So we'll see who gets involved or who wants to reach out to me. I think the main thing here, this 2016 race on the Republican side has shaped up into a question of whether the Republican Party is going to be about individual liberty for all people of all ethnicities, of all religions, of all incomes, or whether it's going to be an interest group for Christian Christians of European descent. And I think that's the debate we're having in the Republican Party right now. Is it going to be an interest group, or is it going to be identity politics, or is it going to be about a universal message?
Yeah, it is a debate within the party, but there's also a debate within the Democratic Party, Jack.
Absolutely.
Oh, no question about it. But I think in that case, it's fairly clear cut, right? So you've got the left fringe. That's Bernie Sanders right there. He's from Vermont, so of course they're going to have spillover in New Hampshire, so that doesn't really surprise me. Iowa is kind of surprising. I wouldn't expect in the cornfields you'd find that many Bernie Sanders supporters.
Yeah.
I have to suspect it's more negative Hillary than pro-Bernie. In terms of the Trump burnout, I don't think the issues that Ulrich was discussing are really that important. I mean, okay, Trump said he liked socialized medicine. Romney was the architect of Obamacare in Massachusetts. He still got the nomination. I think later when it comes down to, as you said, pulling the lever, I don't think people are going to do it for Trump, at least not 51% of the population. I think the Republican Party is going to realize this, and it may go all the way to the convention, but I don't think that name is going to be on the ballot. I think it's going to be someone else.
Wow, good sticking your neck out there. Lee Carter, Avik Roy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it to you both. Thank you. Let's turn back to